How to find a good job. That's easy, right? Just go to school, study hard, get good grades, get into college, and land a high-paying job. At least that's what we were told. For generations, this was the formula for success. But today, not so much. In the new world, kids sit behind screens dreaming of being influencers or gamers. But what happens when those kids become adults? Because here's the reality. You don't need good grades to get into college anymore. If you can sign a loan document, you can get in. Colleges take zero risk. The government guarantees student loans, so schools accept as many students as possible, like any business wanting more paying customers. There are more degree holders than good jobs to go around. Employers favor experience over credentials, and entry-level job markets are flooded. Meanwhile, student loan debt isn't going anywhere. You can't bankrupt it away. You can't get rid of it. You pay no matter what. So many follow this path, hoping to get that job. The one with 6 figures, benefits, paid vacations, a retirement plan, and a gold watch at the end. At least that's what the college admissions office wanted you to believe. Do you remember? Mine had a framed black picture with 3 cars, a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, and a McLaren, with the word DREAM. It sure was. Some dream, right? Here's reality. The average American worker makes $66,000 per year, and 95% of all employees earn less than $100,000. Over the last 20 years, college debt has skyrocketed while good job openings have shrunk. You don't just walk out of school and get handed a good job. Employers don't care if you have a degree in business administration or sociology. They care what you can do. And if you're just another fresh graduate with no experience, your resume lands at the bottom of the stack. That's why so many college grads end up in jobs they could have gotten without a degree. Want proof? Next time you go out, ask your server, bartender, or bellhop where they went to school and what they studied. If you're really bold, ask them how much it costs. Just don't be surprised when they glare through you while wiping down your table. What else is there? A good job sounds great in theory, but for most people, it's an oxymoron. Like jumbo shrimp, it doesn't exist. Maybe you know someone who swears they love their job, but here's a question. If they found out what they really love to do, could they take time off from work to do that? For how long? For most people trading time for money, a job is just that. Just over broke. For some, it's not even that. They're always just short, more month at the end of the money. A few well-intended but bad choices with a credit card and suddenly they're trapped. Because that's what a job does. It locks you into a fixed schedule with fixed rules and fixed limitations. It's just like school. Except now, instead of grades, you're building someone else's dreams. Sure, if you specialize, dentistry, law, software engineering, you can earn more for trading your time, but time is still the cost. The higher salary is just a bigger, shinier mousetrap. So what are the alternatives? An alternative path, the trades. College isn't the only way to a good life. In fact, unless you're going for math, science, or a highly specialized field, it may not be the best path at all. If you're not sold on the idea of piling up debt for a degree that doesn't guarantee results, consider this. When it's freezing cold or brutally hot, people don't skip getting their HVAC fixed. When the lights go out, no one waits to call an electrician. When plumbing fails, it's not optional. It's urgent. People will cut back on luxuries before they cut back on running water, power, or climate control. These aren't just jobs, they're essential services. And here's something you might not have thought about. These industries aren't just jobs, they're businesses. Yes, you can work as an HVAC tech, a plumber, or an electrician. You can make solid money without drowning in student loan debt. But if you think long-term, you can take it further. Most people in these trades start working for someone else, but the smart ones learn the business and eventually start their own. An HVAC technician can become an HVAC company owner. A plumber can run a team of plumbers. An electrician can build a business that operates with or without them. Not everyone is ready to start their own business today, and that's okay. But if you enter the trades, know this: the door is always open to something bigger. If you don't want to play the college debt lottery, and if you don't want to graduate with a mortgage and no house, this might be the smartest move you can make. It's been hidden from you, on purpose. Ever wonder why some of the most important life skills are never taught in school? It's not an accident. Why they don't teach us how money works, how to invest, or how to build a business. Because the current system wasn't built to create owners. It was built to create workers. Think about it. Go to school. Learn how to follow rules, show up on time, and memorize information. Get good grades. Prove you can comply, not think critically. Go to college. Take on debt, but don't question if the return is worth it. Get a job. Trade your time for some money and work until you retire. They sell this as security. But what they really built is a pipeline. School, job, debt, paycheck dependence, and uninspired retirement, if you make it. This system guarantees one thing, that you stay in the cycle, while the people who know the rules to the game keep getting richer. Ever notice that the wealthiest people don't trade time for money? They build systems. They own assets. They leverage money to make more. And here's what they never wanted you to figure out. You can too. The only reason 95% of people never break free? They were never taught how. But now, you see it. The question is, what will you do with it? There's more than one way to make money. Working a job is easy. Show up, tuck in your shirt, smile, and do your work. Do more than you're paid for, and boom, you move up. Now you're managing people who need to learn these fundamentals. But what if you don't want to trade 40 to 50 years of your life, just hoping that, at the end, you can afford not the life you have today, but the one you'll need then? If you think a job is security, ask the thousands of workers who were essential one day and laid off the next. What are the alternatives? Robert Kiyosaki explains this in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, with something called the cash flow quadrant. There are two sides to making money. The left side, trading time for money. Employees work for a paycheck. If they don't show up, they don't get paid. Specialists like doctors, lawyers, and engineers make more, but if they stop working, so does their income. The right side, money works for you. Business owners build systems that generate money, whether they work or not. Investors use money to make more money, without trading their time for it. Only 5% of people make it to the right side, the side where you get paid whether you work, vacation, attend your kid's recital, or sleep in when you're sick. The rest? They can't afford to get sick. And at some point in your career as an employee, you'll realize just how vulnerable that makes you. Personal Story, the book that changed everything. When I was a preteen, my father came home from his job as a construction worker and handed me a book. My friend from work thought you should have this. It was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Maybe I skimmed through it, but I set it aside and went back to thinking about the really important things in life, like girls and cars. Years later, after building a six-figure income, I got laid off and quickly realized replacing that job was next to impossible. I was living on unemployment, deep in debt, and feeling stuck when I found that old book buried in my things. This time, I read it cover to cover. The ideas were revolutionary. It wasn't just about money. It was about a different way of thinking. For the first time, I saw the trap that so many fall into. Work a job, make a paycheck, live within your means, repeat until retirement. That was the only plan most people had, and they didn't do that well. I realized that wasn't enough for me. So, I went to college. 1 year in, and sufficiently educated in psychology and sociology, I quit. I realized something wasn't right. I couldn't see myself in the future this path was leading me toward. So, I got a sales job instead. I worked hard and did well until the company shut down, and I lost another six-figure income overnight. That's when I burned the boats. I was done building someone else's dream while my own future was left to chance. If they could do it, why can't I? Especially if I apply myself. Though my mind gave me every excuse in the book, I pushed on anyway. My path isn't for everyone, but if you get what I'm saying, I have only one regret, that I didn't start earlier. How a pizza maker becomes a business owner. A guy who knows how to make pizza doesn't necessarily know how to run a business. Most people think that being good at a skill is enough to go out on their own. But what separates the pizza maker from the pizza shop owner? It's not just skill, it's growth. Someone who refuses to stay the same can take responsibility for growing into who they need to be. The bigger the vision, the bigger the growth required. At first, he just knows how to make pizza. Then something shifts. He starts noticing how other pizza shops operate. He starts paying attention. He sees each one uses a set of things working together, interconnected, to achieve some end. He sees how menus are structured, how orders are managed, how deliveries are optimized. He realizes a business isn't just a product, it's a system. And not all systems are created equal. The pizza maker who just makes pizzas will spend years perfecting his craft. His 1,000th pizza will be better than his first, but he won't be any different. The pizza maker who builds a system is on a different path. He's no longer just thinking about the next pizza. He's thinking about his impact in everything he touches. He starts to think about his dreams and the next location, and to build that, he has to build himself. But how? The unfair advantage that's available to everyone. Here's something every successful entrepreneur knows. Success isn't about luck. It's about leverage. All of us have the same amount of time each day. What makes us different is how we choose to use it. And if you know how to use this one advantage, you can cut years off your learning curve. Reading is the ultimate shortcut. If you're serious about building something for yourself, you can't afford not to read. It doesn't matter whether you want to be a heart surgeon, a professional athlete, or a business owner. You have to be able to learn, and the best way to learn is through books. A book is time travel. Someone else's decades of experience, failures, and insights packed into a few hours. Think about that. How many years would it take to learn what Robert Kiyosaki put into a 5-hour book? More than I had when I decided to burn the canoes and storm the castle of success. The shortcut to mastery. Imagine a pizza maker who wants to go out on his own. He has two options. He can rely on what he already knows and hope for the best, or learn from those who have done it before and skip years of mistakes. If he reads about Frank and Dan Carney from Pizza Hut, how much time, energy, and frustration does he save? If he reads Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill or Predictable Success by Les McKeown, he gains something even more valuable: the mindset and framework of someone who wins. Most people think success is something you chase. It's not. Jim Rohn said, "Success is not to be pursued. It is to be attracted by the person you become. And nothing shapes you faster than what you choose to learn." Show me your spending, and I'll show you your future. What is the biggest difference between those who thrive and those who struggle? How they spend their time and money, or what they value. Rich people buy time. They delegate, automate, and invest in systems that make them money while they sleep. Poor people buy stuff. They trade their money for temporary pleasure instead of long-term gain. Ambitious people buy skills. They invest in learning, coaching, and personal growth to increase their value. Lazy people buy distractions. They spend their money on entertainment, quick dopamine hits, and things that help them pass time, but never get better. If you want to know where you're going in life, look at where your time and money are going. Another great quote by Jim Rohn for your notes is, "Success is nothing more than a few simple decisions practiced every day." Think about that and make those decisions wisely. You were never meant to win playing by their rules. Once you see the game, you stop playing in it. You start winning it. The path to freedom, that 95% never take. This isn't the easy road. It's the road less traveled. Remember, 95% of people never take it, and 95% of people make less than $50,000 a year. That's not a coincidence nor an easy path either. If you're willing to work harder on growing yourself than you do looking for a good job, you'll put yourself in the 5% who build something for themselves, with the help of others who work a job. So, next time you're out to eat, pumping gas, or shopping for groceries, take a second to think. The person responsible for your access isn't the person working to get it to you. They're paying an employee to do that. The question is, which one will you be? Final challenge: choose your path. You see the game. You see the trap. You see the paths. Now you have a choice. You can keep following the road they paved for you, or you can grab the wheel and create your own path. 95% will keep hoping things work out. 5% will start making different choices today. Which one will you be? Who am I, you ask? I am a God-fearing husband, father, and divine spirit navigating the human experience. I take my role as a steward of my life and future seriously, knowing that every decision I make either moves me forward or keeps me stuck. I believe the difference between financial security and financial struggle isn't luck, it's mindset. It's the ability to see the game, learn the rules, and play to win. Most people settle for what they're given. The few who thrive choose to think differently, act boldly, and take responsibility for their results. My goal? To expand awareness, challenge the thinking that keeps people trapped in the cycle of trading time for money, and help others step into a life of freedom, impact, and ownership. After all, the greatest gift we can give ourselves and those we care about is the ability to create wealth, time, and opportunity, not just for today, but for generations. Here's to you and your journey toward true freedom.